In this lecture, we are going to talk about dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis is a simple way to do problem solving. If you have felt that dimensional analysis is pretty challenging before, this is the lecture you want to pay attention to. Follow the steps laid out later on in this lecture. You will become a master in dimensional analysis. But before we dive into dimensional analysis, let's introduce a new concept that is called conversion factor. A conversion factor is just a ratio between two different units. This ratio specifies the relationship between the two units, how they are related to each other. For example, the price of something, the price tag, is always a conversion factor. Here the example is $10 per case of something. Okay, the 2 units is the amount of money, dollar, with the ratio to another unit, case. How much money per case? This is a ratio of 2 different units. It tells you the relationship between the amount of dollar and the number of cases. This is a conversion factor. For any ratio of 2 different units, this case, the price of something, there are always two ways to write a ratio. You can write the price of something as $10 per case, or you can write it as 1 case for every $10. Okay, there are always 2 ways to write a conversion factor. Remember that. When do we need a conversion factor? Whenever information of 1 unit is provided and the information of a different unit is wanted. Okay, when you want to get information of 1 unit from information provided for a different unit, this is the time you want to use the conversion factor. The conversion factor will tell you the relationship between those 2 different units. For example, here, if they gave you the number of cases of something and they ask you the amount of dollar, you will need a conversion factor. Or they gave you the amount of dollar and want to ask you how many cases you can buy, you need this conversion factor. All right, let's move on. Here are some conversion factors about some of the length units: inches, centimeters, meters, mile, blah, blah. Here are some conversion factors for some of the mass units: pounds, grams, kilograms. Here are some conversion factors on volume units: quarts, liters, gallon. Now, dimensional analysis. By definition, it is a problem-solving method used to get the information of 1 unit from the information provided for a different unit. When to use it? Well, the definition itself tells you right away when to use it. Whenever information of 1 unit is given and information of a different unit is wanted. In this case, you use dimensional analysis. An example right here. How much money is needed to buy 3 cases of water? The information given is 3 cases of water. The unit of given information is cases of water. The unit of wanted information, how much money, the dollar amount. The unit of wanted information, dollar, and the unit of given information, cases of water, they're different. In this case, you need dimensional analysis. I know some of you are saying, wait a minute, we cannot do this. We're missing some information. Yes, we need price. In order to finish this question, we need to know the price of water. How much money per case? We need that. We need a ratio of these two units, dollar and case. That is a conversion factor. A conversion factor is always needed to complete the dimensional analysis. A conversion factor specifying the relationship of the two units is always needed to complete the dimensional analysis. Now the setup. Here I laid out a stepwise procedure for you to follow. Pay attention to them. Make sure understand what it is asking to do in each individual step. You will become a master on this. Step number 1, identify the unit with given information. Let's assume that unit with given information is unit A. Start your setup with that unit. Okay, let's put the unit with given information at the beginning. We don't know what it is yet, but let's call it unit A. It could be dollar, it could be pounds, whatever, but it's the unit with given information. It tells us unit only. Don't worry about the number at this moment. Let me tell you, numbers in a question is the least important thing. Numbers can change from question to question. The setup will never change. All right, so unit with given information. Step number 2, what else? Oh, before that, another reminder. Never start a setup with a conversion factor. A conversion factor is a ratio of two units. Sometimes, when you look at a question, you will see there are different informations given. You may be worried about which one do I pick to start my setup. Well, one information given will be the conversion factor. The unit of that conversion factor is a ratio between two different units. When you see an information is about the ratio of two different units, that's a conversion factor. You do not put that number, you do not put that unit at the beginning of your setup. We're going to see this in examples later. Next step, identify the unit with wanted information. Assume that is unit B. Place it at the right side of the equal sign, leaving some space between A and the equal sign. Okay, put the equal sign here, leave some space between unit A and the equal sign, and put unit B on the right of the equal sign. Okay, our job is from given information, get what is wanted. This is our job. What do we need here? Step number 3, multiply unit A with a conversion factor. This conversion factor gives us the relationship between unit A and unit B, and you need to make sure in the ratio of unit A and unit B, the unit of unit A needs to be at the bottom, unit B needs to be on the top. You need to put the conversion factor in between in such a way that the unit with wanted information is on the top, the unit with given information is at the bottom. I'm a little confused, Dr. Yang. What's going on? Don't worry if you are a little confused. Just remember this. When we do the practice, you will understand exactly what they are meant. After this, you're basically done with your work, almost. What you need to do now is to put all the numbers in from the question and perform the calculation. We're going to talk about this later on. Now let's practice the setup with a real example. But before that, a quick review. Start a setup with unit A. Start a setup with unit A. Put wanted information on the right. put the conversion factor in between. In the conversion factor, the unit of given information needs to be at the bottom. The unit with wanted information needs to be on the top. And a reminder, do not start your setup with a conversion factor. Here is an example. If the price of eggs is $2 per dozen, how many dozens of eggs can you buy with $38? All right. The unit with given information, dollars. Why not that? That is a ratio between two different units, dollar and dozen. That's a conversion factor. You do not start your setup with that. So the given unit is dollar. Wanted unit on the top of equal sign. Wanted unit is how many dozens? Okay, dozens on the right. After this, you put in between here a conversion factor. The conversion factor needs to be set up in such a way that the unit with given information is at the bottom. The unit with wanted information is on the top. Now, let's put all the numbers in. We're done with the setup, basically. Put all the numbers in. We have $38. The ratio between dollar and dozen is $2 1 dozen. So $2 1 dozen. 2 needs to be at the bottom because the bottom is the amount of dollar. Now, to perform the calculation, you punch in the first number into your calculator, multiply the numbers on the top, divided by the number at the bottom. 38 times by 1 divided by 2, 19. You can buy 19 dozens of eggs if the price is $2 per dozen. Practice. A golfer put a golf ball 6.8 feet across. How many inches is this? All right. Start the setup with the unit with given information. The unit with given information, feet. Start the setup. Well, some of you may ask, wait a minute, Dr. Yang, we have more information here. Why did you choose that one as the starting point? Why not one of these two? Well, that's because the information here tells you the relationship between foot and inches. The relationship between two different units is a conversion factor. You will never start your setup with a conversion factor. All right, keep going. The unit with wanted information on the right of the equal sign. The unit of wanted information, this is easy. How many inches? Okay. Right after this, we know what to do next. You need to place a conversion factor in the middle. The conversion factor needs to be set up in such a way that the unit with given information needs to be at the bottom. The unit with wanted information needs to be on the top. That will be your setup. All you need to do now is to put in the numbers. 6.8 feet. Every 1 foot will have 12 inches. You multiply 6.8 by the number on the top, divided it by the number at the bottom. 6.8 times by 12 divided by 1. 16.8, 30 minus 6. You're going to see 81.6 on your calculator. Now you need to make a decision. What number do I need to put as my answer? Well, your starting point, the measurement, has 2 sig figs. All the numbers here are exact. exactly there are 12 inches in 1 foot. There's no uncertainty. So the measurement 6.8 will decide how many sig feet you have. Therefore, you need to round off this number to two significant figures, which will become 82 inches. 82 is your answer for this question. Another practice. A sample has a mass of that many pounds. What is the mass in kilograms? Oh, this one is pretty straightforward. Given unit is pound. Wanted unit, kilograms. Once you see these two different units, you can put the conversion factor right here. Pound needs to be at the bottom. Kilograms needs to be on the top. Then you put in the numbers. You have 4.50 pounds. For every kilo, you have 2.2046 pounds. Now you perform the calculation. 4.50 times by 1 divided by 2.2046. The number on your calculator will be something like this. You're going to see more digits. I think the number should be somewhere like 2.0411 and some other things. Now need to make a decision how many digits of sig figs you need to keep. Again, this is the measurement, 3 sig figs. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sig figs. The one here doesn't count. This is the final conversion number. It has 5 sig figs. So your answer should keep 3 sig figs. 2.04 kilo will be your answer. Another practice, which is almost identical to the one on the last slide. The only difference is that the final unit is grams, not kilograms. Starting unit, pounds. What we do know is that from the last slide, with this conversion factor, we converted from pounds to kilograms, and that was the setup. We know by the end of here, we're going to end up with a number. I don't remember the number, but we're going to end up with a number whose unit is kilograms. That's what we did on the last slide. Now what we need to do, we need to convert kilograms eventually to grams. We need a conversion factor in which kilograms need to be at the bottom, grams need to be on the top. This is what we learned, what we have been practicing. All right, that's what we need. Now you perform the calculation. You start with 4.50 times by 1 times by 1,000. Keep dividing all the numbers at the bottom, divided by 2.2046 divided by 1. Your answer will be 2.04 times 10 to the power of 3. Again, 3 sig figs decided by the initial given measurement. This is the end of this lecture. Make sure to find a couple more practices either in the book or online. Use the procedures we have been talking about to do it a few more times. The key is to repeat the procedure we practiced. You will become a master on this.